to get your page out there. And okay, Facebook used to allow you to do this with a Facebook contest app like Wishpond, but they don't anymore. Okay, but while you can't force people to like your Facebook page to enter, there are 2 other ways you can entice entrants to do it. Number 1, you can like for more chances to win. You see what I'm saying? Follow this. This gets complicated. After an entrant participates in your raffle, you can entice them to like your Facebook page or multiple pages to get more chances to win. Facebook promotion guidelines doesn't let you do this as the primary entry method, but you can use it to let entrants get bonus entries after they participate via the entry form.
This is really gray.
That is a gray area.
I mean, this is real hardcore lawyer stuff that you really dot your I's and cross your T's.
But see, that's what I would hate for somebody to go out like Brian and make one mistake and get in trouble or, whatever.
Yeah.
But I got to read, and this is why it's so interesting. There's so much to this, and there's so many gray areas when you read this.
I think the thing with his in particular is it's fairly local, and that they're all racers. They aren't really concerned with that type thing. But if it was a nationwide thing,
well, it was. I mean, it's worldwide. It's Facebook.
I understand that, but most of the people that were attracted to the page are local racers,
right,
or in the Pacific Northwest. So, if there was a gray area there, he probably wouldn't have any. He probably didn't have any problems. But let's say you put one up nationwide, on every type of thing, you may have quite a issue with that if you really aren't careful. I can see it becoming really sticky.
Right. So what we're going to do is when this is done, we're going to post this onto Moxie Media Promotions so everybody can read what we're looking at. In fact, if one of you guys want to do that now, Joel, if you want to take and post that link, I sent you guys up on the Moxie Media Promotions Facebook page. People can follow.
2%, I can't.
They can follow along with us. But right here it says, here's an example of a like for bonus entries method. Okay? This is housed in a pop-up that appears after a person enters using the entry form. And it shows a picture. It says, thank you for entering. Increase your chances of winning. And it says, like, 1 extra entry. And it has the Facebook symbol, share, and you get 3 extra entries.
You can do that.
After you've already originally entered, but you can't use that to entice them to come into the raffle.
Oh, boy.
So you can't say you'll get additional...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
Not on your original entry.
Right.
But, yeah, right. So you see how great here they say that you can't do that, but once you're in, you can.
Well, that means you didn't lure them in. They voluntarily got in, and then look at what you're rewarded with.
Okay, Facebook like pop-up overlay. Pop-up overlays appear over the top or over top of your Facebook raffle when a person visits it. Facebook like overlays have a like button that asks visitors to like your Facebook page. You can't force people to like your page, though, so you must include an option to skip it, like in the example below, and it shows a picture. And we're going to get that posted up so you guys out there listening can follow along.
And by we, he means Joel.
You can't... Let me say that again. You can't force people to like your page, so you must include an option to skip it, and we're going to post all this up. Even though it is optional, it still gets a majority of visitors to click like, and it's the prominent action on the page. And here's an example, and we're going to post those. Are you working on that, Joel?
It's already up.
It's already up. So go on there and follow along. And it shows, gives an example about liking the page or having a skip button. So you don't have to like the page to get in. Mm-hmm. They say you can't do that. You can run a Facebook raffle with an optional like overlay like this, Wishpond's Facebook Sweepstakes app. And you'll see that when you're on there. How to contact raffle winners. Okay, here's how they say you can. Facebook was once very strict about how you could contact winners on your Facebook raffles. They didn't want you using methods like Facebook posts and messages, as they thought it would lead to spamming. But they've since lifted those restrictions. Here are a few methods you can use to contact your Facebook raffle winners. Email, which they highly recommend. Facebook message. Tweet through Twitter. Comment on a post on your page's timeline. Facebook message. And Facebook post on your page's timeline. That's how you can contact the winners of your raffles. Email is recommended, and it's the most reliable way we've found to reach someone, which I think, that makes the most sense. So I think, do you have to private message your email when you enter? Is that how you would do that? Like, okay, once you enter, private message whoever's holding it your email?
I don't know.
Well,
I guess that would probably make the most sense.
Isn't your email automatically attached to your Facebook account so I could grab that information?
See, mine's not.
Mine's not.
I made a fake Gmail so I could get it. I didn't want it attached to my regular email.
Well, it's a real Gmail. It's just an account you don't use.
I don't.
But I read that, and I just thought there's a lot of gray areas in here, because in one section they say you can't do this, but then once you're in, you can.
Yeah, it's a matter of time before something changes.
Basically, the way I see it, after listening to this and reading all this stuff and doing a little bit of research myself, if I were to do one of these raffles, I'd be having a very long conversation with someone like Rob Ireland.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. There would have an attorney involved, because
plain and simple.
That's something that could, what if one person says, oh, let's say I hold a raffle and one of you guys win it. Someone says, oh, that's set up. Those guys just took the money and da-da-da-da, and they put a lawsuit on you. I mean, even if you go through and do all the legal avenues, we know what today's world holds. I mean, people will sue for anything. That could happen. You better have some verbiage, some language in that contract saying this is what it is and this is what it isn't. I think that you absolutely have to do that.
And that's where, I was looking into possibly raffling off a Longhorn car out here.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking into it. I got to this.
I started reading this stuff and said, well, I don't think so.
I started reading this and I went, okay. And then I was like, I'll raffle it off for list price. Then I started looking at it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to get a lawyer involved now. Price just went up. And then I'm sitting there going, it's not worth it.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and unless you are illegal Knievel,
But it gets you a lot of exposure.
That's the thing.
And it can also bring you bad exposure if you're not careful.
Well, you're right when you say that.
Half full, half empty. How do you want to look at the glass?
Do one thing somebody doesn't agree with, and they challenge it. I mean,
but that doesn't mean the product's bad. It just means something's goofy with the.
Or they think you're trying to rip them off. I mean, I think it's just such a gray area.
Six one way, half dozen the other.
And knowing the Kronks, they went through and read all this, and they knew what they were doing.
We're not saying anything negative about.
Knowing Brian, I'm just saying, knowing Brian and his family,
and they are
those
smart.
guys, yeah, they are.
They are super sharp.
I know they went and did it, but see, that's what got me all interested in this whole thing, because I see these things. How many of these things do you guys see on Facebook every day? These raffles give away a race car or an engine or go-karts. I mean,
I'm seeing at least 2 a day now.
All the time. These things are popping up all the time. It's now become a sales tactic, because now you're not just hoping someone sees it and goes, that's not a bad deal. Maybe I'll spend $20,000. Now a guy goes, well, wait a second. That's a $35,000 engine. I can pick it up for $200 if I win. Now, there's a chance you're not. The chances are probably against you, but that's not how people think all the time.
The one person out there is going to win. One
person's going to win.
Be me.
I think they're trying to avoid. Remember back when it'd say, "Oh, we have overstock of Apple computers," this page, and
right. They had 3 Apple computers give away. Right.
Yeah. Or my
Dude, those
RVs.
were out of control.
Yeah.
I think you're right. That's probably what spurred this whole thing. Yeah. But when you look at it, it's a great sales tactic.
I think so.
100%.
I mean, it really is, because a guy can get in there and win something for a whole lot less money.
The investment of a lawyer, which wouldn't be that bad for this situation.
If the item is big enough, like what Brian or anybody else is doing with entire cars or haulers. We're seeing haulers on there now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I really think it'd still be a worthwhile investment.
I absolutely do. And look at how many entries that Brian had on that.
Yeah, I personally didn't see. I just seen a lot of action.
I think at one point, I think there was up to like 190 entrants when he sold the car.
Wow.
So, and he told everybody right there, this is the price, or if it doesn't sell by the time we fill this thing up. He covered his bases. He did it right. He got an offer on the car for what he was asking and sold the car. Into the raffle. He didn't take any money from anybody. See, he said, once all the spots have been filled, then we'll take money through PayPal.
then the car's no longer for sale.
Yeah, right. They weren't all full yet. Someone came to him and said, "Hey, I've been looking at the ad. I'm ready to pull the trigger. Let's buy the car." He did. Nobody lost any money. Nobody had given him any money, so nobody lost anything.
Right.
And that's the right way to do it. You can't take money before the spots are filled.
Well, you can, but
not the
you'll
right
look
way to.
like
That's why you're gonna need a
Tucker.
lawyer. You better have a lawyer if you
Yeah.
do that. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, you guys? I mean, talk to me about this.
You already know my opinion. I mean, I've already said it. It's,
Right.
You
Well, you got
gotta
to looking into it, realizing what goes with it. It's a lot of work. It really. You don't just make a post and, there it is.
I think it's beneficial to a lot of people with a lot of different situations, and I think I can't imagine the lawyer being that much. There's a few hours of lawyer work, but I can't see it being in the thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, I expect that probably a $500 lawyer thing you could tack onto the price, and it'd be very well worth it.
Sure, and I think you're right. Sam, what do you think about this?
I think it just.
What's your perspective?
It all kind of depends on the dollar amount. I mean, really, like you're going to do engines or, there's some of those motors out there that are pretty expensive. Smaller dollar amount things, I wouldn't really waste my time with it. But
So let me ask you, and I'm glad you brought that up. You're cruising through Facebook. You see that there's a brand new, a 434 aluminum road deck in auction, in a raffle. Okay, they're going to sell 200 spots, and let's say each spot is $400. Does that entice you to buy a spot?
It does.
if I'm shopping,
Well, let's say let's say this is a $40,000 engine. You can buy a ticket at $400, knowing you're going to spend that $400, and the chances of winning are against you. It's an expensive lotto ticket.
It is.
Okay, but does that entice you to
I guess
buy
it
a
really-
ticket?
I guess you have to look at the offset of the costs. It's like the dollar to your investment dollar. Like the $100 tickets, that's doable. We've
Right.
all wasted $100 in places we probably stupidly.
So if it's a
spent.
$40,000 engine and they're going to sell 40 spots at $1,000,
I think it would have to be more like 400 spots at That's personally the way.
that's what
feel.
I would do.
Right, I'd make more spots at, even though the odds are a little bit different. It's less investment. You'll have more people. It's volume.
Right, but then against your odds with more people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you sell 40 spots at 1,000, or you sell 400 at.
And the only question that just popped into my head is, and it sounds strange, but start thinking about this: what kind of liability do you have afterwards? So let's say you raffled off an engine. Well, what happens to that engine's junk?
Right. Right.
Things like that just popped into my head, and I'm like, wow, I never thought of that.
Well, and here's the thing, though. What if? Okay, so you go
We're
on,
done,
you buy a $400 ticket in a raffle.
Yep.
Okay, you win it.
Yep.
This thing's aluminum block, aluminum head, road deck, everything, top of the line stuff. Take it out, put it in your car. You go out, and trophy dash, boom,
Yeah,
motor explodes.
That's my point.
That's
Well,
a
now
great
what?
that's a great point. I mean, now you're out.
It's the same reason why whenever I sell a race car, I do not have seatbelts installed on that race car. If they,
I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
and here's the thing: is that if I sell a used car, the seatbelts come out, they get cut into 6-inch chunks and thrown in the garbage. If I sell a new car, there's a box of seatbelts. If they buy seatbelts, they get put in the cockpit, and they can install them themselves, not touching it.
That liability that's a great question. I mean, that's a great point, because if I'm the guy that sells a $40,000 engine for $400 and you take it out and blow it up,
Yeah.
I can say, dude, you're out $400.
See, like let's say we were raffling off a new Corvette. It's going to be a new Corvette from Chevrolet
Right.
with a, whatever.
Warranty.
There's a
'Cause
lot
you're
more
gonna-
peace of mind in something like
You're
that.
going to have people that are, if that happens, it's going to be a problem.
But at the same point, if you have a custom-built 434 Brodex head motor, what kind of warranty is going to come out?
You
come
don't,
out
but
of it?
my
I don't
point
think
is-
you can sell it with a warranty.
Right, but my point is somebody's still going to find a reason to.
You're right. You're right, and that's where that lawyer comes in.
Right.
I mean,
That's my point. It's like you don't get a warranty on race motors, but some idiot's going to win it and say, "Oh, it broke."
Right.
Then where are you?
It's the same principle as buying a replacement motor for a Hornet. You go down to the junkyard, or excuse me, the race car parts yard, and you pick up a Hornet motor from the race car
Or
parts
some
yard.
people go to a machine shop and have a built one, but
Yeah.
we saw some of that too.